Hello. Today's episode number 84 of the Professor Slots podcast discusses self-learning during this time of self-quarantine due to the COVID-19 pandemic of 2020. Plus, in this episode, I'll be covering the current state of slot machine casino gambling in the great U.S. state of Mississippi. Thank you for joining me for the Professor Slots podcast show. I'm John Friedel, and this is the podcast about slot machine casino gambling. It is where I provide knowledge, insights, and tools for helping you improve your slot machine gambling performance. In case you missed it, on my last episode, I went over casino closings. Further, I reviewed Minnesota slot machine casino gambling in 2020. I hope you enjoyed listening to my last episode as much as I enjoyed making it for you. Remember to visit ProfessorSlots.com/subscribe to get my free report revealing the top 7 online resources for improving your gambling performance, including the one I've used as a top-tier slot machine casino gambler. Here's the audio recording of my latest live Q&A session. Okay, looks like we're live, and not as smooth a start as last time, but what can you expect? Hey, everybody, thank you for being here. I want to say hello, fellow slots enthusiasts. It's great to hang out with you for another Professor Slots podcast episode, which is what this will become, and the live stream, which is what this is. So this Q&A session is every Saturday at 2 p.m. Eastern Time here on my John Friedel Professor Slots YouTube channel. And if you're here live, it's great to hang out with you guys and tell me some of your questions, and we'll go over those. Although I do have a few things I do want to cover today. Before we get to too much of that. Also, I started this by saying, hello, fellow slots enthusiasts, but I've been getting more names to try out on what to call you. So I could have said, hello, slot whisperers. Hello, slot tribe. Hello, dit brigade. Hello, slot hunters. Hello, the wizard squad. I don't quite understand that one. You're the wizard. I'm the wizard. Who's the wizard? Is that a copyright violation for the Wizard of Odds? Hello, slot masters. Hello, jackpot runners. That makes an assumption, though. Hello, slot advantage players. Dr. John's slot pot collecting from your suggestions. So hello, everyone. Please say hello in chat if you're live. Please include which state you're in, your name and what you want to call yourself, in which state you're in. This is sort of thank you, Chuck, about the audio. I appreciate that. I'm getting slightly better. We may have some interesting audio today. It looks like there's a chance of severe thunderstorm. And I have turned off my weather radio because it does that bee-oo, 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 sound. And we would have to wait for that to be done. So I've turned that off. But I've got a good view of the sky. You might be able to see that reflected in my glasses. And I will keep an eye out for things. If I have to seek shelter, that would be simply because, YouTube takes that as a sign that to let more people know, so more people come to the live stream, if you would. And while you're at it, subscribe to my channel. You will be finding out, you'll be seeing more week, starting on, tomorrow. Tomorrow should be the first one. And then, I'll try to make that a Sunday, should be a Sunday, Tuesday, Thursday, sort of situation. Sundays and Tuesdays probably forever. And Thursdays, for a while, maybe 6 months or so. And then after that, I'll probably be doing webinars on Thursdays. So, I'll be posting, those, shortly. It's something I've been meaning to do. So first, by my count, about 10 minutes early. Good for you. Scott, thanks for buying my book. Thank you for reading my book. We'll have to talk about that, what you thought. Lois and Dave, use his iPad, will be able to join. That would be awesome. Let's see. Hey, Steve. Yes, good afternoon. Good afternoon, everybody. Unless you're in UK, I'm not sure if Larry's here, in which case it would be good evening. Right. So, Scott, well, I read the entire book in one day to keep it fresh in my mind. I kept thinking it would be more tips, I guess. Never thought of the idea of same time next week for the jackpot. Yeah, I didn't think of the idea either. It was just obvious that's what was happening at a horseshoe casino. I don't know if I mentioned it was a horseshoe casino. So other horseshoe casinos may do that as well, because it's, business practices. If you haven't bought the book or read the book, we're just talking about some of the concepts. It's also in some of the things I'll be talking about today. Let's see. Here we go. Scott, rain in Southwest Missouri again. Yeah, we've had some rain here as well. We're talking about the weather now. Now my father is going to say something about the weather because that's our primary discussion point when we chat. Let's see. Some dates of jackpot hand pays. Yeah, did that at Horseshoe, Southern Indiana. They would actually post them on the side of the ones in the high limit room. And did not think of to take a photo, just was interesting. Again, and this is just how it is. These are business practices, and not every business practice is done by every casino. You just have to figure out which one they do, if any. And, they might not have posted those if it mattered. On the other hand, it's surprising what the right hand does and the left hand doesn't know. And sometimes I've seen those like taken down by other members of the leadership team when they're like, no. So, that would be something you could see. James, please explain if and how can casinos control the payouts. Okay, so we have bid a slot machine. If you buy a slot machine, this is not one that's centrally controlled. This is the ones that are plenty of them available. Gambler's Paradise in Franklin, Ohio sells them. You can program it. You can usually have about 6 different settings out as far as a range, but the state does not say 85%. Does not say 85%, even when it says 85%. It says minimum 85%, and it can be set above that. So where exactly is it set? And you have usually about 6 different choices on the older slot machines. I think they've gotten to be more of those, about slot machines from about 10 years ago, 5 years ago. But then 7 years ago, they started having these central servers. So I'm not sure if they probably went to more settings, but there was at least might be anywhere from 85% to 100% if there is an upper level, and pick one. And the casino, chooses. We're all pretty tough on slot machines. We are concerned. It's important to us. But it's not, they can't set it at 85%. You have a state law that says 80% minimum or 85% minimum. And if you look at the return statistics, those states that have it, they're not set that low because you would just walk out of the casino and just be terribly upset. So it's usually above that. And it's, not too high because they have to make money. And that is how they set payouts. If you don't have I'm just giving you the gist of it. Okay. Okay. I'm having a bit of an error in my stream health. I hope this works. Okay. Hopefully the getting a bit of a, okay. So, I'm getting an error as far as having great video. But hopefully the audio is coming through. So James, that's how these things are set up. Even business requirement, which probably is more important than anything else, because they have daily financial performance metrics. So that's basically it. Now understand that nobody really talks about this except me. Everybody else is like, well, pick a machine, which game do you like? Which is the game that you win on? And I'm like, well, the one on the end of the row of all identical machines, except they're not identical. They just have the same game on them. The one on the end of the row might be the one that's set up to be visible from a base on this, but people, up until a few years ago, nobody really talked about this. The people who win at slots know about it, but they don't, discuss it. So I'm going to move away from that, James, but feel free to ask me questions, read my articles, read the book, and you begin to see it's a different way of looking at slots. I'm a little surprised more people aren't. I think somebody was asking about that. Yeah, you have nothing better to do. I hear you, Scott. I do know this one was paying out hand pays pretty regular. My problem, and I'm not afraid to admit, is not stopping when I am up. Hey, we all have that. how many times, when I first got started, I won something and I'm like, well, this, not me individually, but they had a target and I was helpful in helping them meet it. And then even now when I find a slot machine, it's visible from an area. It's obvious that, to me anyway, that it's the one that the casino is set up so that all people everywhere can see it and get excited. One person wins, 10 people are happy, 50 people are happy. I used to consider, that it was me somehow, but I picked the slot machine. That's about it. Hey, Paul is here. Awesome. I think that's this is your first time here. Right. So let's see. Hey, Jay. Sorry to call you James. Jay from Louisiana. Awesome. Nice state with some, good state regs, gaming regs. John Friedel Sr. is in Florida. Steve. Hi, Steve from Charlotte. Harrah's Cherokee home court for you. Yeah. Ray from Ohio. Hey, Ray. Doug from Minnesota. Hey, Doug. Best audio, but it looks like it might be not the best video, but hopefully the audio is coming through okay. I think this is the first time it's been like that. Maybe trying to do too much. We shall see. Kingston, Ontario. Okay. Dave, Richard. Yep. From Western North Carolina. Possible reopening, May 1st. Starts taking, yep. I've been hearing a lot of, casinos are setting up, you can start make reservations now and they'll have a date, and it might be in April. It might be in May. They can always push those back. But they're eager. They are eager to get back into it, as are we. Are other people feeling that? Because I'm feeling that. I'm missing the casino. Denise. Let's see, Scott. Sorry. I am going on safari one night midweek when it gets back going to just record hand pace. Okay. Denise. Yep, that's right. Denise is in Texas, but she plays in Texas. Dave. Hi, Dave. Dave is from Oregon. 65 hand pays last year. Hey, that's pretty good. But I rarely come home with money. Money management. Okay. So one of the things I'm going to talk about, because we are not going to casinos, and I'm trying to, up my daily posts. So to give you something to do, one of them will be for money management tips, and we can talk about that and how to progressively get a little better at money management. Hopefully, welcome, Jay. Yeah, sorry. Thanks for letting me know, Scott. There is a note on my instrument here saying YouTube is not receiving enough video to maintain smooth streaming. Hopefully, that evens out. I will continue. What else can we do? Hey, Joanna, welcome. Scott, if you win 200 to 300 a time and you go 5 to 6 times, well, bingo. I'm not sure I quite understand that one, Scott. Dean, Vegas casinos losing money every day during the shutdown. Governor says stay closed. Vegas mayor says we need to open soon or else. I hear you. I'm in the aviation industry. That's what I work in, and planes are not flying much at all. And, that's, worrisome. Hey, Chris, from Minnesota. Excellent. Yes, Scott, I have some thoughts on that. I wrote it into a post. So let me switch over to maybe something a little better on. Right. So what I have done in the last week, hopefully this will switch over for you in a moment. Where is it? There it is. It's a 20-second delay. So, right. So now you should have, okay. Now you should have, a image of my, other screen, which is of my website. One of the things I try to do is talk about my, and I think I got a couple of people on chat here who are interested. One of the things I like to talk about is all the things that I have to offer, and I don't always mention them. So I'll very quickly mention I have a webpage, professorslots.com, and I'll type that in so you have it, because if you listen closely, you might hear thunder in the background. So I put the link into the live chat, professorslots.com, and that's what I'm showing on the screen now. That's my main page. One of the things that you can do is there's a menu here. There's a menu right there, and this is what it looks like on a mobile phone. It's a little bit more open on a desktop. And so you can choose to go to articles here, or to find all my articles, or you could go a little bit further down the screen. These are my main, let's see. Is it not updating? Oh, I see. Right. So if you slide down the screen, there's a video of me giving you a little bit of a welcome. There's where you can go about listening to my podcast episodes. I've got about 83. Tomorrow will be 84. And you can go to any place you go to get podcasts, and that's what these are. I probably should take them out because I put a note that says anywhere you get podcasts, I am at. Then the last few podcast episodes are also here. And then is a list of I think it's about 12, my last 12 posts. And some of these are articles. These first 3 here that I'm showing are articles, and we'll talk about each one of those. Scott was talking about this third one, the Strategy 7. We'll talk about the others. And if you slide down, then there's 2 more articles, and then I make a post for each podcast episode. So this next one is podcast episode. The last one is number 83. And then if you slide down a little bit further, you'll see several more. So do we have? I think we might have money management in here. Yes. So for was it Jay or Scott, and others. There is this article here, 11 practical slots money management tips to keep your winnings, because it's obviously a need, and I wanted to show that. So, I will jump over to that article, and we should be updating momentarily. Okay. So, all right. So if you look at this article, you will see what I've put together as far as being prepared, what to do immediately upon arrival, what to do while playing slots, and then also an after-action briefing, which is what I call it. So, evaluate how you did as far as meeting your goals on money money management. And Dave Oman says, it's hard to stop after you win a jackpot. I have a pocket full of $100 bills. That is true. And that's one of the suggestions I have. I'm not going to read the article to you because I have several articles I want to cover here. But one of the suggestions I have is to train yourself, to give yourself a habit. If I'm very briefly going to switch over to me again. So you can have this. Okay. It is a lockable wallet. There is another one I have here, which is, it has a key, and there's a space about this big. I could get about 100 bills, in there. There's a slot in the top, and you fold it up and you stick it in. And, these are, the second one's a gamble box, and the other one is a winner's Circle 2000, something like that. I don't recommend them. I just want you to know. Let me try that again. So gamble box, it holds about this much, maybe 100 bills. It's got a slot at the top. The idea here is that you leave the key at home. But you also, this one, again, you have a slot in the top, And there's even a card that comes with it. And then you push it in there. It even holds even less, so it won't even hold 100 bills. So you might want to make sure it's not ones. But then you leave the key at home, and that I'm going to go back to the other screen. I don't think that's entirely appropriate. I've done it without having something like that. There's limitations on these where it's the key. Maybe you actually do need it, although you have to watch out for that feeling. But the idea is, I suggest, is you've got 2 pockets. All right. Maybe a pair of jeans, men's trousers, pants, and one pocket is for deposit and the other one is your bankroll. So you only put stuff in one pocket and then you don't take anything out. That is what you use that pocket for. It can take a little bit of effort. A few times, I would take something out and I'd be like, no, that was the pocket that I'm supposed to just only deposit in. But it takes a few times. But once you get into the practice, you hesitate putting your hand up in that pocket other than to deposit something. And then it takes maybe it only took me like 3-4 times. I was surprised how effective it was. 3-4 times. And then you don't take anything out of it. Yeah. Now, at the end of the day, maybe you put vouchers in there and you have to cash out. But you have to sort of get through that few minutes there. But if you can get through hours of not taking anything out of that pocket. Now, the only warning I would say is don't put anything in that pocket that you want out. That when it goes in, you make a hard decision. This I want to keep. I'm not going to change my mind about this. This is what's going to go into that pocket. I'm going to leave it there. Don't put it in there if you don't think you will do that. And then later on, several times you go to the casino, that becomes your pocket that you put deposits in. And I was surprised how well that worked. It's human nature to sort of, discipline yourself. So when you, that's one of the things I talk about here. I've just moved this up so you can see, I have sections, many sections. I did say that there would be 11, practical tips, and these are the 11 practical tips. Some of them have to do with what to do before you go to the casino, what you do when you immediately go to the casino. There's visiting the card kiosk, and also there's more than one money management strategy. Pick one, commit to it. And then, when playing, there's a couple other things you can do about, choosing how you want to, save that money, like having loss limits per slot machine. Hey, I'm only going to spend $20 on this slot machine. I'm only going to spend $200 on that slot machine. I'm going to only spread, pick your strategy and then stick with it. Pocket, unless you have let's say you're playing high limit, you win your bankroll. Maybe you choose to put that in your pocket. And after that, whatever's left is what's left. And you can choose to then play whatever you win because you put in your pocket what you brought in. And, that is one strategy. So pick what works for you, but stick with it. And this is, any one of these strategies is going to be, have a pocket that's only deposit. You just have to choose when are you going to use it. Constantly have $20 out of every machine I play on. $20 goes in my pocket, or choose. And I try to go over some of the main ones, that people use. There's things like, sometimes there's emotional control. Hey, I'm a winner. I'm lucky. I can't lose, and you just sort of have to, recognize that one. One of the ways you can do that is, have accountability with somebody you go play slots with, somebody you don't play slots with, somebody, a spouse, family member, someone who holds you accountable. Hey, did you stick with your discipline? What was your plan? What was your strategy? Did you stick to your strategy? And when you have to explain yourself to somebody, even if it's just a friend, that is, important. And as I say, practice, practice, practice. So let's, see if there's any questions and see how well, let's see how well things are holding up on the live stream. Okay. I'll check with questions on this one. It's hard to stop after you win a jackpot. Yep. Yeah. Scott, I wear cameo pants with all the pockets, right side, spending left. Yeah. Exactly. But maybe you're jumping around. I don't know. Maybe you're jumping around in strategy. What's your method? And stick with it. From the beginning of your session to the end of your session. If that's, identify where the issue is. Let's see. Yeah. Scott, I learned that one. No credit card or bank ATM card in casino ever. Yes. That's a fine rule to have. Some people don't like walking through the parking lot with cash and, might use, an ATM, not a credit card, an ATM, withdrawal from their checking account, although there might be a fee, depending. And sometimes that's a way to not carry cash in the parking lot or the parking structure, for $200 or something. Of course, there's limits and you really can't do that if you could play high limit because you can't withdraw, there's a limit how much you can withdraw on an ATM usually. Robert, how can let's see, let me try to, switch back and forth a little bit. Robert says, how can I find out my casino's gaming returns? When it is an Indian casino, Akchin Casino in Arizona, that is also a Harrah's casino. So it's owned by Akchin tribe and operated by Harrah's. There is some, North Carolina has something like that as well. Very few, states that have gaming compacts with tribes that require them to report return statistics to the state. I would think there would be none, but there actually are a few I've found. So if you want to find out what's available, slots.com/AZ. Either one should work. And that'll take you to my article, which Arizona, I would have written like towards the end of last year. I do it every year, one per week. And there's 56 of them with including the territories. And that will tell you what's available. If they don't do it, you don't get it. There are plenty of people like Oklahoma has tribal casinos and they don't either have, a theoretical payout, nor are return statistics provided publicly. And so, you just go to the professorslots.com/AZ, and you'll see what's available. I don't happen to remember it offhand. We could go there if you wanted to and just take a look around, and see what you have. If you don't have it, well, most places don't have it. A few places, Louisiana, Mississippi, and others have it so good. They even have it down to return statistics by slot machine denomination and casino, like Nevada. It's just amazing. But not everybody has that. Oh, did you hear that? There's the storm. Okay. So, Doug, are all Oklahoma casinos closed currently nationwide? My best understanding is that, at a convenience store, and those might be open. Otherwise, I don't know of any that are open. We kind of went over that last week. I think it was also closed. I think what's going to be interesting is, we talked earlier about early May, might be when reservations are being taken, but it might not be that casinos are going to open in like Vegas and other places. I think we had a discussion in the last 2-3 weeks about this one closed, a few closed, a lot closed. The last one's closed last week. If any are open, no one's talking about it. I think nationwide. Yeah. But I think we're going to go through this. We're going to go through the same thing, but it might be 2 weeks away. It might be 2 months away. I don't know. Yep. Dave says he tried online casinos, but something seems fishy about them. ? Yeah. Good instinct. If you are interested, and a lot of states don't allow you to actually do it. Some of them don't even allow you access to online casinos, but there's a real question about whether or not an online casino is legitimate. Why don't you let the professionals decide? If you go to my professorslots.com/NJ, for New Jersey, and under the payout returns, under other gambling opportunity, New Jersey Gaming Commission section on online gambling, businesses that they have verified, that they have scrutinized and say, these people are not criminals. These people are not shifty. These are, recommended. I don't know if necessarily I should say recommended so much as verified and validated. Businesses, not fly by night, not fishy. And that's a place to start. I mean, outside of that, it's all kind of word of mouth. I like that a gaming commission somewhere has identified decent online casinos. But again, we talked about this last time. I don't think they're for us. We like the atmosphere. We like, having a business practice we can take advantage of. We like, other people. At least, being around, sometimes we like it when it's quiet. Sometimes we like this, that, drinks or food or buffet. We like brick and mortar casinos. Online is a game. Even when you're doing real money, it's a game, and it's none of the other things we like. And you're going to, I'll try to, I will have to check to see how we're doing after we finish recording to see. I hope the audio came through okay, and I hope that the video came through okay. So let's, of the 7 articles that I posted in the last week, and that you can scroll through, there was another one. Some of you are experts at slot machines. Others of you haven't ever played a slot machine. You're just getting started. And I'm trying to help people understand, the various sections. I made a schematic. There's the service light, there's the bonus display. You don't always have one of those. A pay table somewhere. If it's digital, it's usually hidden. If it's not digital, then it's a little bit easier to find. Just a panel, a plastic sheet above the reels. You got a Players Club interface. You've got the results. Sometimes that's pretty small. Might be a little screen that blinks a number. When you wonder why the machine locks up, it's because it's showing something $1,200 or more. There's a play console. That's where we, push all the buttons and choose the number of credits and number of lines. Both, neither. There's a ticket in, ticket out. And I tried to do a little schematic here. It's not the best thing in the world. It's probably the first graphic I did for my book. Just to try to show you an example of what you might see. There's a lot of different settings. The reason why I just didn't take a picture of a slot machine is because it's copyright protected, and I can't publish that in a book, legally and without having a copyright infringement, $100,000 fee per instance. And I'd rather not do that. So here I just go through each of these. You can see on the left side here, there's a bonus at the top. There's a service light, also known as a candle, bonus display, pay table, Players Club, results, play console, voucher out. And then I have sections on each of these here, and I won't go through them individually, but it gives you an idea of what to expect on a slot machine when you've never really seen one before. It seems to me when my first year or so of playing slot machines, it was pretty extraordinary for me. Experience to, for me, I think for all of us, when we first, remember that first time you played? It's pretty interesting. So there's a lot of smoke, a lot of lights, dark at the same time with all the lights, flashing lights, sounds. And sometimes you're not really looking at the slot machine going, well, this one has a pay table or doesn't have a pay table. This one has physical reels or is it video? And sometimes you just need to be outside of the casino, and just sort of say, well, there's a player's card interface. I didn't use a player's card, back in 2004 before I took my 10-year break because I moved to a part of the country that didn't have a good casino. But I thought about that extraordinary time of winning 13 hand pays on $1 machine, in 6 days and then nothing on the 7th day. And, what the heck's going on? It was, what I call, it was a machine that was set up to win near the bar, at Prairie Meadows. And, switch back here. And when I, played that, and do I have that? I might have that here. So at Prairie Meadows, I won a slot machine, or won a taxable jackpot. Anyway, it's that one was November 11th, 2005 at 5:13 p.m. And then basically didn't really have them handy to show you. But I have a whole collection of them, and I stopped having my picture taken. I really should not have done that, because I could have a bucket of those. Anyway, I took a screen capture. I don't understand. And after a few years of thinking about it and realizing that, it wasn't entirely luck, that it was a casino business practice, it made me start looking for other casino business practices, because the odds, it just wasn't. There are times when it's like there's a bias, and you can find that and use it to your advantage. And took me a little while to sort of get my head around the idea. It might take you too. Let's see. Questions. Your previous video. When you say casinos will tighten and loosen, explain that to a gambling idiot. me, and then she has a big smile. How do I put this in a high level side of things? And there are plenty of people even people who gamble a lot, haven't been aware of the change. So, it's always been there. They're like the difference between poker and video poker. It's not the same thing. That's not controllable. It's like throwing a dice. I know people think dice control, but when you throw a dice, it's the universe. If you have to sort of understand statistics to understand that you're changing the frequency distribution to be a little more inclined this way or that way, or bimodal or Gaussian or exponential, there's these statistical casino, first off, has control over the slot machines, whether it's a central computer or just opening it up and changing the odds. You win. I'm trying to think of a common example. It's hard to, it's all gambling. How do I answer your question better than that? So casinos have a range that's set by law. If it isn't, and a lot of them are set by law, gaming, but they do have, business practices. So if everybody lost their money to the casino, everybody would walk out and not come back. So of course, losing. People like to win a little. And so there's numbers that work for that part of the state, that the casino has learned through hard effort. And so that is what they do. And then they set it there, and then they make money or they don't make money. And then things will move around based on the economy and the time of the year and the season, but day to day. And you can, once you're aware that they have that kind of control, and that they're trying to adjust their daily performance. I'm a little surprised at you, Paula. Paula edited my book for me. But she was looking for comments and stuff. Scott, knew a guy played $25 machines, 300. Absolutely. Yeah. And casinos can make money by that, because players, commonly don't. He was playing. And it's just, I'm just trying to get the word out. And Richard, we talked about that last time. My best guess at this point is, if casinos reopen, if a casino reopens, and I can appreciate that business aspect. But if they open later in the month, there is no later time. They either have to meet the state gaming requirements or the tribal gaming compact or their own business. So either way, end of the month is going to be better than the beginning of the month, even if they're open at the beginning of the month. And that's my learn more from that one that does open, which I'll depend on all of you to comment in our slots communities to talk about what it's like when your casino opens, and then we can see if that applies to the next casino a week later. You're welcome. He says, thanks for your site. You're welcome. Yes. So end of the month, I would say. That's our best thinking. If we can, it'll happen. Take one for the team. If your state's the first state with a casino that opens, let us know how it goes. So the rest of the states, which have, like you all did fabulously, when things were closing, when things are opening, report back, because they won't all open at once. Might even be over a longer period. Ray, I was told that Las Vegas controls the payouts on a daily basis at my local casino. Does that sound right to me? Almost every casino having them except for the ones that can't, because you have to basically put the wiring under the ground, under the floor. And if you're a riverboat, you don't have a floor, you have a hull. And they just want to have central sermon just going through 3,000 slot machines and takes a week or 10 days. Let's see. Let me make sure I lost track where I was at. In lost times per day, because I don't know if Nevada's, the only ones that don't have the ability to have that is riverboat casinos. Almost everything else has. It's been in 2012, only a couple have, it's like almost everything has switched over, because what does payout mean? And I have payouts and I have returns. Okay. Payouts is theoretical. Returns are the return statistics, and they report on a daily basis. The returns on a weekly basis in Nevada, they reach month. So they have to meet their weekly requirements for it up on the weekends for when California comes to visit in Las Vegas, and loosen it during the week for the locals when that week averages out to the state requirement. And that's how it works. And I don't know anybody else who talks about this. I'm trying to grow the pretty obvious. But once you get across the idea that it's not luck, I mean, there's always luck, but there's these trends and business practices, and casinos are counting on you thinking it's luck. This is not to figure out a graphic or display or a way to say all this a little bit better. Glad you got your answer, Paula. Yes, Scott, when it's successful, people get it, but it's a little bit of a hard sell. You've got a lot of people who don't think this way. I wrote the book 4 years ago. Yeah, I published it 4 years ago, wrote it 5 years ago. And I would say, this stuff, and I would have people, why are you so upset? This helps you. Well, it doesn't work that way. And I'm like, it used to not work this way. Now it does. What do we call that? I think I kind of caught up on the questions. I have a couple articles that I put out this week where were slot machines invented. Actually, that was, it started in San Francisco. But when did we get the microchip? When did we get the random number generator? When did we get two screens? Australia provided that one, and then shortly later, came in. When did Nevada get set up with the Flamingo having a slot machine in 1934? This is the many inventions of slot machines and where they came from. Charles Fay. But the Bell fruit gum back in Prohibition in 1920 to 1932, the golden age of slots. And the reason why all this is important is the innovations and technologies that are going into slot machines. We've just spent almost an hour talking about them with the central server and wiring things up. Somebody's talking to me about facial recognition. If Linda's on, talking about facial recognition and some of the more recent slot machines from Scientific Gaming, where maybe you don't need to use a player's card eventually because it'll recognize your face, like an ATM machine right there in front of you. Let's see if I can switch this over conveniently. So, right in front of your face is a camera, and that's the only way facial recognition works. The camera in the ceiling, it's not doing top of your head recognition. That doesn't work. You need to be basically, and what do you know? Slot machine screens are. But this other stuff about, even casinos get this wrong. They buy these multi-million-dollar facial recognition systems, with cameras in the ceiling, and none of them work, and they aren't technically proficient. Scott says, could you do one of these Q&As on a weeknight? Probably can't with your job. I was considering moving the Q&A, but once you build an audience, same time, same, day, once you build up that, you want to keep Q&A the last 19 Saturdays. So I think we're going to be doing this. I was we don't have March Madness this year. So I'll pick this time. One of the things I was considering doing was doing a 4-hour session once a year. And I haven't really decided when we might do that. So that I understand that need, and that is something I'm planning for. So I will be posting on Sundays, and it'll give you something, and you can comment. And then as I grow to the point, and please subscribe, tab doesn't open until you get a certain number of subscribers. Dave has a question. Getting a lot of attention, Dave. And I do have if you wanted to have a conversation, Dave, I do have consulting, professorslots.com/consult. I wasn't going to try to advertise these things today, but Dave says, I've noticed the change in payouts at my local Indian casino. It seems more random, almost computer controlled with the change, opposed to someone turning a knob. I don't really see it as random. The connection I have found has been the size of the crowd. So I have some of my strategies have to do with understanding if you have a big night, you have a slow night. Is it right after a big night, right after a slow night, and just sort of that pattern, because it's a business practice. So it has something to do with the business. And that's the sort of thing that I connected to. Now, if you can't find a pattern, I'm trying to show people, I figured out some patterns, many, and I'm writing them all down so you can look for them. There's always a possibility of a few more. I think I captured a lot of them, but there's subtleties at your casino that you'll need to watch for. But with 7, 8, 9, 10 examples of what to look for, you might be able to dig into what your casino is doing. Also, there's another possibility that it doesn't have a pattern. And that's something to watch out for too, because it's not about you. It's not about you making it happen. It's either happening or it isn't, and you have to uncover it. So your ability to observe and watch and consider and, uncover the pattern. That's kind of where we're at. Let's see, Dean, any new slot names for the group? I started by saying, hello, fellow slots enthusiasts. And then I went through 12 others, and I believe you're on here, but I don't remember you saying this. And I'm not quite able to keep up, with who said what, but I'm trying so that I can give credit to whomever comes up with one. So now I've got 13, lucky number 13. If you have an idea for a name for what you would like to be called, feel free to email me or comment in this post, comment in this video, or just get it to us on maybe the slot communities. And right now, for those of you who weren't here, we came up with, we're going to be able to get that right. Too many S's. Say that 3 times fast. One-Armed Bandit Brigade, Slot Hunters, the Wizard Squad, Slot Masters, Jackpot Runners, Slot Advantage Players, Dr. John's Slot Posse, Slots Army, and Slot Detectives, which I like as being suggestive. See if there was anything else. If you have any questions, do ask. I wanted to quickly see if there was any article I particularly wanted to talk about. We were talking about tribal gaming a moment ago. I have an article. I put together a bunch of stuff and I decided to call it the Ultimate Guide. Sometimes that helps people understand what it is I'm trying to share. And this is a basic, if you look at the screen, you'll see a few of the topics that this one covers. And what else? This is a quiet time for us, right? We are doing self-learning during quarantines, and maybe you might want to start a podcast. All you need is a computer, microphone, and I think it's like $7 a month with Libsyn. But I have an article about starting a podcast. I call it a recreational gambling podcast because I know you like that. Feel free to start one. It's pretty cheap. And I list out everything that you might need as far as software and hardware to accomplish that. Anyway, slot fans, I got to stay away from copyright violations. Not a Batman. Chuck had said slot fans, to the tune of Batman. Thanks everybody. We are, going to wrap up now. Yes, Slot Wizards, has, all right. I had the Wizard Squad, Slot Wizards. I will add that one. Thank you. That is, who said that? Carrie. I want to make sure Carrie gets credit if we end up with that one. And I will talk to everybody. A week from now. We'll see how this next week goes. I'll have 7 more posts coming out daily. Should be another one coming out in about an hour and a half on all the slots communities, but I'll share it in my email on Saturday morning, this next coming Saturday. Last questions here. Chuck says, do machines against the wall, outer ring pay better than machines located in the midst? Well, if they're located in the midst, that would be unlikely unless there was a major thoroughfare. You and I have talked about this, about visible from a distance, however that might be. Philly T says, thanks, John. Always informative. Let's be careful out there. Let's be careful out there, everybody. Do take care of yourselves, please. I'd be devastated if anything happened to you guys, any one of you. Ray, I think I have told you before, however, I have definitely noticed that an increase in payouts, hand pays, using some of your concepts and mixing them with mine. All caps, your concepts work. Thank you, John, for sharing. Yeah, I know they work. And I'm trying to get the word out. I'm a little surprised by people who don't, like them, but because it seems like an emotional reaction. I'm like, okay, try it. And, if it works, when it works, it sells itself. Scott, next trip to casino, I will be more prepared to figure out what to do instead of a Hail Mary pass. Right. You can always do the Hail Mary pass. You've got odds of winning, but I've heard so many people just say, it doesn't matter which slot machine. I'm like, it does. The one at the end of the row, just move over one. Just please. No? Okay. Don't do it. You're welcome, Doug. Okay, everybody. Great session. Take care. Have fun. Be safe. And have fun. Be safe. Take care. Bye. Remember to visit ProfessorSlots.com/subscribe to get my free report revealing the top 7 online resources for improving your gambling performance, including the one I've used as a top-tier slot machine casino gambler. This is the second segment of the show on slot machine casino gambling. Here I provide a brief overview of the current state of gambling in a U.S. state, territory, or the federal district, emphasizing by far anything of interest to slot machine casino gamblers. Up next is Mississippi slot machine casino gambling in 2020. Here goes. Mississippi slot machine casino gambling consists of 27 riverboat casinos and 3 American Indian tribal casinos. International cruise ships with onboard casinos also depart from ports in Biloxi and Gulfport. Minimum and maximum payout return limits have been legally set by the state. Further, comprehensive actual payout return statistics are available by gaming machine type and state region. The minimum legal gambling age in Mississippi depends upon the gambling activity. For land-based casinos and poker rooms, it's 21. For bingo, it's 18. For the lottery and pari-mutuel wagering, it is not available. Gambling in Mississippi has aided in the economy of the state and breathed new life into its tourism industry. In 1990, the Mississippi State Legislature was the 3rd U.S. state to legalize riverboat gambling. By law, Mississippi's riverboat casinos must be located on coastal waters, the Mississippi River, and in navigatable waters of counties bordering the Mississippi River. After Hurricane Katrina in 2005, the Mississippi legislature allowed the state's Gulf Coast casinos to rebuild on land within 800 feet of the shoreline. Winning a jackpot of $1,200 or more in Mississippi results in a non-refundable 3% tax of those winnings paid to the Mississippi Gaming Commission. This limit also applies to any cash prizes won in casino drawings and tournaments. Next up is a usually short statement about slot machine private ownership, which I have included in case you live in this U.S. state and are considering owning a slot machine. Here it is. In Mississippi, it is legal to own a slot machine privately if it is at least 25 years old. The Mississippi Gaming Commission, MGC, is responsible for non-tribal commercial casinos. The gaming regulations used are from MGC, but also from state law, specifically the Gaming Control Act. The Mississippi Band of Choctaw Indians also has its Choctaw Gaming Commission for Mississippi's 3 tribal casinos. The gaming compacts, which authorize tribal gaming in Mississippi, established this gaming commission. In this section, I discuss Mississippi gambling establishments. Mississippi has 27 commercial casinos, 3 American Indian tribal casinos, and cruise ships sailing out of the ports of Biloxi and Gulfport to international destinations. The largest casino in Mississippi is Island View Casino Resort with 2,700 gaming machines. The second largest casino is Silver Star Casino at Pearl River with 2,500 gaming machines. Mississippi has 27 commercial riverboat casinos. As usual, when there are too many casinos to mention here, a complete list along with links to the websites, assuming they've set one up, is available on my website blog article for this state at professorslots.com/ms. Mississippi's 3 tribal casinos are each a property of Pearl River Casinos and Resorts, owned and operated by the Mississippi Band of Choctaw Indians, including 1. Bachoma Casino in Sandersville, located 93 miles southeast of Jackson, 2. Golden Moon Hotel and Casino in Philadelphia, located 75 miles northeast of Jackson, and 3. Silver Star Hotel and Casino in Philadelphia, located 75 miles northeast of Jackson. As an alternative to enjoying Mississippi slot machine casino gambling, consider exploring casino options in a nearby state. Bordering Mississippi is, to the north, Tennessee, to the east, Alabama, to the south, the Gulf of Mexico, and to the west, Arkansas and Louisiana. To visit any of my articles on these U.S. states, simply visit professorslots.com followed by its 2-letter postal designation. For example, my Tennessee slots article is available at professorslots.com/TN. Are you interested in sharing and learning with other slots enthusiasts in Mississippi? If so, join our Mississippi Slots community on Facebook at professorslots.com/FBMS. All you'll need is a Facebook profile to join this private Facebook group freely. There, you'll be able to privately share your slots experiences as well as chat with players about slots gambling in or near Mississippi. Again, use this convenient link I've created to go directly to our group on Facebook, professorslots.com/FBMS. Join us. The Mississippi Gaming Commission, MGC, offers monthly return statistics for commercial casinos by region of the state. These regions include Central Region, including the cities of Vicksburg and Natchez, Northern Region, including the cities of Tunica, Greenville, and Lula, and Coastal Region, including the cities of Biloxi, Gulfport, and Bay St. Louis. The minimum and maximum theoretical payout limits are 80% and 100% according to MGC's Regulations Part 3 Operations, Rule 12.5, Minimum Standards for Gaming Devices. These limits apply for each wager of a gaming device. If the gaming device played is a skill-based competition-style machine, these limits apply when playing it with optimal strategy or perfect play. MGC's monthly revenue reports offer the most recent month slots player win percent. Their monthly archives offer return statistics reports from prior months over the last 20 years. The revenue reports offer the win percent for machine denominations for all casinos within a state region, central, northern, or coastal. Further, progressive machines have separate entries by denomination. Gaming machines include slot machines, video poker machines, and video keno machines. Another useful monthly report is Gaming Devices Report, which offers how many machines of each denomination are in each commercial casino. Once again, progressive versus non-progressive machines are separate. Relative to other U.S. gaming jurisdictions, the payout statistics provided by Mississippi are the most thorough treatment I've seen for payout returns. The Mississippi Band of Choctaw Indians has not established theoretical payout limits in their gaming compact or by its Choctaw Gaming Commission. Further, as is often the case, no actual return statistics are publicly available. In summary, Mississippi slot machine casino gambling consists of 28 commercial casinos, 3 tribal casinos, and cruise ships sailing out of the ports of Biloxi and Gulfport on the Gulf Coast to international destinations. Minimum and maximum theoretical payout limits at commercial casinos are 80% and 100%. Possibly the best return statistics in the U.S. are available for Mississippi, available by 3 state regions and machine denominations, as well as whether they are progressive machines. Over the last year, 1 commercial casino has closed, the resort's Casino Tunica. Remember to visit ProfessorSlots.com/subscribe to get my free report revealing the top 7 online resources for improving your gambling performance, including the one I've used as a top-tier slot machine casino gambler. Part 1 of the next episode of the Professor Slots podcast is a live Q&A session on YouTube. Remember, my weekly Q&A session on YouTube is on Saturdays from 2 p.m. until 3 p.m. Eastern Time. Bring whatever slots questions you have, and I'll do my best to answer them. An easy-to-remember link to my YouTube channel is ProfessorSlots.com/live. Feel free to stop by anytime during my hour-long Q&A. To suggest a topic or ask a question which might end up as a blog article or on a podcast episode, email it to john@professorslots.com, where John is spelled Jon. Part 2 of the next episode of the Professor Slots podcast is another brief overview of the current state of gambling in a U.S. state, territory, or the federal district. Next time, I'll be talking to you about the great U.S. state of Missouri. That's the end of another great episode of the Professor Slots podcast. Thanks so much for listening. Show notes for this episode are on my website at professorslots.com/episode 84. I plan to have the next episode come out very soon for you, where I'll have more amazing content for the show. Until the next episode, have fun, be safe, and make good choices. Bye.